Hey, your hair is looking nice.
Thank you. We're live. Welcome
Nice.
to the Branders
Welcome.
podcast.
Who was he talking to about the hair?
Oh, he was talking about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got some nice hair too.
I mean, maybe not without the mullet. Welcome everybody to the Branders podcast.
Yeah.
Today we got Jake Lucky or Jake Sucky, depends how horny you are, from the East from the Esports talk. You guys might have seen him. You might also think that he owns the channel. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't. We learned that about a month ago. He's more like the flow of progressive, but for esports news. Right? That's pretty fair.
Dude, did you plan that before going into it?
No.
Jesus Christ, dude. You kind of just dagged me off the bat.
Dude, I was really surprised when I heard that shit too, that was in your channel. I was
dumbfounded.
Did it have a different host before?
It did not. I would like to say I'm the first, at least that I know of.
Well, you're also you're not removable anymore. They're fucked. They better be getting. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna send this to my boss right after this. But yeah, that's definitely a common misconception about the ownership of the channel. So in case anyone doesn't know, I'm a worker for Esports Talk, and I would consider myself the main host, but I do not own any of the channel. So that's definitely like a common go-to question for sure.
You're just a news slave.
That's I prefer.
Listen.
Hey, you're like that.
I'll tell you why I can say that. I used to work for Scarce. I don't know if you know who Scarce is.
Yes, I watched your Tfue episode, and I had no idea you worked for that guy, but I love that guy too.
And I worked for him for 3 years, and I was a news slave. So
hey, I just want to say, you two are the happiest slaves I've ever met. Like, you guys are super stoked.
How many are you meeting nowadays? Hopefully,
don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyways, to start off the podcast, we are drinking a little bit. Jake said, "Yo, Arab, I'm an alcoholic. Let's start off with some drinks. Maybe the bitches will love me." And so here we are. You guys know I don't really drink much, but we got some whiskey today. And maybe as it gets a little bit deeper, we'll start feeling a little bit tipsy. Jake, I want to start off. How'd you get into this?
Definitely a long-term process, right? I'm sure you guys started as you were kids, kind of getting into gaming. I like to say that I started in CSGO, but I think it stretches way further back. Like, what are the first PC games that you guys have ever played?
RuneScape.
Ooh, I didn't get on a PC. RuneScape, I guess.
RuneScape?
I didn't get on a PC late.
Oh, yeah. I already like you guys so much more. RuneScape was definitely like the first addicted game I ever got into. But before that, it was Age of Empires. So way
Is that
back.
the game where you have the lines of people and they know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I never played that.
Like the catapults and shit, and then you evolve to that was a fun game. Oh my god, now that I think about it, that game was also might have been before RuneScape.
Yeah, right. They were like trebuchets, or you choose whatever region of army and you build them up.
Yes, that was a fun.
And as a kid, you're like, yo.
Right.
Do you ever play Civilization? You remember that shit?
Is that the game like Civ 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
I did not, but I watched my college roommates play that all the time.
Yeah, that game was fun. I feel like first-person shooter games on PCs weren't really common until semi-recently. You know what I'm saying? It was all RuneScape type stuff.
Oh, 100%. But anyway, sorry to sidetrack into that. I feel like that's how I first got into it. And then RuneScape was middle school into high school. That's the first time I ever made YouTube videos was RuneScape. And then slowly transitioned into high school, early college, kind of faded off, stopped making videos. I tried vlogging for a little bit. And then it wasn't until late college where I found Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or CSGO. And I started doing news on CSGO, started my own channel called CSGO News. And then once I graduated college, I kind of realized that I wasn't able to make a job out of that. And luckily enough, I was looking around and found the opportunity with Esports Talk to kind of broaden the horizon to covering more than just one individual game.
So let's backtrack a little bit. What were the first videos that you made in RuneScape? Because a lot of people, especially in this esports scene, don't realize that most of us started, it was way back before we even had an official channel or whatever. It was 10 years ago.
Yep.
So go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you know what? You can
Stop.
go. You can go. You can go.
You look really good today, by the way.
Thank you.
You both do. I like that shirt a lot. You got a nice shirt. I can
Yeah,
barely see it, but I like it.
I know it's this freaking web. Give me your address. I'll send it to you.
Nice. After
But
podcast, not right
yeah,
now.
yeah, after. But I would say I was doing some lame stuff. I think like I had such a not to like sound cocky, like when I had the very, very small audience, I have not anywhere near made it. But like, you know, back in the day where you really were starting and you had like that niche group of followers, I was called legit RS Giving, and I was doing a bunch of RuneScape giveaways.
Right.
And so, you know, as a kid, you're just like, yeah, that sounds sick.
Yeah, that name's dope for sure.
But then nowadays, if I like type that word out, people are like, "What's legit or giving? Like, what are you like?
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
talking about?" So for me, it was mainly like giveaways, and I've never been good at video games, so I was like doing farm runs and like just trying to farm as many herbs as possible and doing like these weird challenges. So I don't know how anyone ever found me or watched me, to be honest.
It's cool that you say that because like we all started with lame videos, I think, and a lot of people don't realize like you got to start with lame videos to realize and build it.
Dude.
Oh,
You
we
don't
can talk.
Don't get me started. You know what I hate, and I actually like yell at people for doing? I hate when somebody's trying to be creative and what they've made isn't good, and then people talk shit about it. I actually don't like that because I'm like, man, listen, we all start somewhere, and if you like make somebody feel bad about trying, they'll give up and they'll never get there. You gotta support the homies for creating, you know?
Oh, that's such facts, quick. That I mean, like if you think about it, like if people stop once one person or a couple of people hate on the idea, no one would have made it to where we are. Like if you stop for one hater, two haters, we just aren't here.
And a lot of people do stop at that. But like back to that, when people do ask me for advice, I still criticize the fuck out of it. Like I'm not,
Oh yeah.
you know, I give them like, I'm like, keep going. You just got to figure shit out. Like it doesn't mean you have to stop.
That's productive criticism. That's not like needless shit talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way I describe it is everyone's first video is like the ugly part of growing your hair out, the part where you want to put a hat on, and you have to get through it. You just have to get through it. You know
Dude,
what I'm saying?
I love the way you reference things already. You're not gonna lie, quick. Like it's like your hair is beautiful, right? But you probably had some rust. I had a mullet.
Man, no.
Yeah,
man,
don't you dare talk. You never even made it that far, bro. You
Okay.
you failed. You had a
For
mullet
real.
and you cut that shit.
Yeah, why'd you get rid of that? That shit was
Because
so
of
hard.
the haters, man.
Oh my god.
But like to make it to that would just take me freaking what, year and a half, 2 years at least.
Yeah, like probably. It depends how fast your hair grows.
This might be the weirdest analogy I've ever had, but that's what it takes, right? Like to grind through to what you like want to be. You got it. Like those rough spots, you get like, look at that. Look at Aaron.
I'm at 10 months.
Arab's doing good. I'm actually really proud of him. I didn't believe him when he said he was going to grow it out. I thought he was going to fucking cut it, but he hasn't. Good
What
for
you going for? What you going for, bud?
I'm going for a man bun. Dude, and I was bald. I was bald on January 1st. Completely bald.
I know.
He had no eyebrows either.
I had no eyebrows in March.
Freaking jeans on you, dude.
Yeah, it's the Middle Eastern, bro.
Oh man. And plus, quick, can you grow facial hair? Because I know Arab can.
Yeah, I can. I just don't.
You can?
I can't.
You can't grow a full beard.
Yes, I can. Oh my god. I've had a full beard.
I've never seen you with a full beard.
Really?
Yeah.
I had one years.
Jake, I got a question.
I just tried it for a bit. But.
So you're full of wisdom. You know, you've gone through the stages of being a loser to now just being like a little bit stupid.
like a well-off loser.
You're what? You're 26 years old?
I'm 32 next week.
My God, what the fuck? I feel like we talked about this in DMs.
Or I'm 25. Either one, you can choose.
Okay, you're 25. Okay, that makes more sense. I was about to say, because like...
Wait, I'm so confused.
He's 25.
That's okay.
So have you gone to college?
Yes, I did graduate a couple years back.
Really?
Where'd you go?
Or should I be lying?
No. Okay, you graduated. Where did you go and what did you do?
I went to Iowa State University. So a lot of people don't know Iowa is actually a state in the United States. So it's a fairly big school, and I had a double major in marketing and management. So upon graduating, I was doing the typical throughout college internship thing, and I really thought I was going towards the regular business world, and luckily did not go down that route.
So you wasted twice the money or a double major?
Aren't you in school right now?
Yeah.
Damn, I graduated too.
With marketing. So
Where'd y'all go, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to USF like Tampa.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I still
have a
don't
friend
say
who went
because
there.
I haven't graduated until December. But I'm in for computer engineering and I absolutely hate it. And I'm never going to use it. But like the only reason I'm still in it. Well, here, pause. You haven't used your degree yet, have you?
That's a tricky question. I like to think that to a certain degree I have, used the sociability aspects, and I technically do kind of market and manage myself to a degree. I think people get caught up in the question of, could you have done it without college? And for me, it's a tricky question. It's tough.
I think what he means is like, have you submitted a resume and you having a college degree like resulted in you getting a job type shit?
Fair enough. My first job out of college was actually this. So technically, no.
So degrees are becoming useless, is what I'm hearing here in the entertainment world. Now, obviously, Jake isn't going to tell you this.
Useful. They were never useful in the entertainment world, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think they were. That's fair. But people think that you need that plan B, and I guess maybe some people do if they don't know how to diversify themselves correctly. But like me personally, the only reason I'm still finishing it is because once I became big enough as a streamer, like I was already so close. I had 2 semesters left. But
God, you're so cocky all the time, dude.
Hey, and for my parents, like Middle Eastern parents, might as well finish. So your parents also were very big on that.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be it's a questionable thing because I have a lot of people reach out, and I'm sure you guys do as well, that want to seek advice as to should they pursue a degree, should they go to secondary education, or at least get go to college for that 4 years. So again, it's always up to that person, but it's certainly subjective, right? I think everyone comes from a different household, everyone's raised differently, and for me personally, my parents were like, okay, this gaming thing, it's still not guaranteed, right? So to have that sort of backup foundation for me, I don't regret it. And I also think there are more benefits to college than just a degree when it comes time for, social aspects. It's a very expensive social aspect, but I do think there are other important things learned in college, which I'm sure you guys have experienced too.
So yeah, I'd say there are a lot of like things that you learn in college, but I want to go back to actually when you said that you had quit or that you wouldn't be able to make it as a CSGO news channel. Why did you come to that realization? Because I feel like going through this whole thing, I never was like, I can't make money off this. It was maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, right? Because I've been through different stages. I've been through pranks. I've been through skits. I've been through, like gaming. And each time I was never like, let me quit. I can't do this. It was, I think I'm doing the wrong thing. So where was it that you realized, like, right between college and esports talk, that you said, CSGO news isn't going to do it for me. I'm going to quit. Like, I can't do this anymore.
That's a really freaking good question. And I think it's a question that a lot of people are going to probably face as well. For me, I was super lucky to have CSGO news, and I was actually streaming back in the day as well on YouTube. I was really lucky to have that be a side job. And for the longest time, that was good enough, right? Like I was getting by. That was as good as having an internship, financially speaking.
Do you have a problem saying how much you were making at that time?
Yeah, like, because it wasn't a killing, but I was able to make probably $2 or $3 grand a month, which for a college kid,
great for a college kid.
It was incredible. I was very lucky.
That's good for like regular people. Like, actually, if you think about it, like outside of this, like the problem with like this little world, I feel like is I feel like we all kind of have a loose idea of how much people make, and in the real world, bro, like $3 grand, $4 grand a month is like a pretty good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's also another great point. I like the point that Quick keeps on making. Every time you interject, you make me think differently.
He's that guy on the podcast. He's the dude that always makes you like question your shit.
Question myself.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the looks and the miscellaneous bird noises in the background because they don't shut the fuck up.
That's what that is. Okay, just so I know. But yeah, that's a really good point as well, because I think a lot of kids, or even us inside the scene, we see the Tifus, we see the ninjas, we see that high dollar amount, and we're like, oh my gosh, if we're not making six figures, 7, 8 figures, we're not doing well enough. And I think we definitely take that for granted that, you know, 2 to 3 grand a month is oftentimes better than most people do. But back to the original point of it, I think for me, I was very, very lucky to have people wanting to back me up. And a lot of that was actually streaming donations. And so when I looked at it long term, I just didn't see it being very sustainable. And I realized that not only from parent pressure, they've always had my back, but it just was not going to be long term enough. And to your point, I thought, can there be anything different that I can do to kind of broaden the horizon and make it work? So for me, it's, you know, giving up that channel was one of the hardest choices ever, but it's obviously become one of the best choices ever too.
How many subscribers was that channel at when you had given it up?
I think just shy of like 80K, which
Wow.
Again, when you look at the market though, I don't know. I'm not quite like you in the terms of, I don't have like a streaming career, right? Like I'm not competitive in that. So you've definitely done a great job. And as many people have, to really diversify yourself. At the end of the day, I was like, oh man, I'm a talker. And can I only talk about one esport and make this work? It seems iffy.
So
How long?
why?
How long
Oh,
did
yeah, go
that?
ahead.
How long did that 80K take you to rack up?
I want to say it was pretty fast once things caught wind, maybe a year-ish, which, you know, start to finish, that's pretty fast. But
That
then
is really fast.
That's a lot. That's fast as fuck. Wait, it took me 6 years to get to where I'm at on YouTube. Five full years.
Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that it took you a year to get to 80K and you're like, nah, this ain't good enough. Like, that's wild.
No, 'cause- well, it took a year to get there, and then things definitely stagnated. And so it was like, oh gosh, like I don't have the capability editing wise and like to change it up. I don't know what to do. So there was a lot of fear in that. So like it was great when it was growing, and then once it stopped, it's like, frick, like what do you do? Where do you turn?
So
Scary question.
pausing on your frick, I'll probably come back to this point later, but are you family friendly in person too? Is that you? Because I hear you say all the time, frick, you know, you never say fuck.
What was that you just
sorry, I didn't
beep.
want to. Yeah, I didn't.
Fuck. Are you guys gonna beep this out? Like,
he got muted because he cursed. I didn't say mine loud enough. Is that you in person, or is that the esports talk Jake Sucky talking? Is that Jake Lucky talking right there?
It's not sucky talk, but you know, it's actually it's real.
My chick loves sucky talk, dude.
All right, well, it was good talking to you guys. No, that's actually real life talk. All my buddies know that I actually, sorry, $7 webcam. I kind of gave it up, I think, sophomore year of college, and my most go-to word was the F word, and so I kind of replaced it instead of the F with frick. And I don't know, after like a couple months, I was like, I can stick this out. And so I don't cuss. No, I don't mind cuss, like hearing people cuss.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Why?
This might sound dumb, guys. Okay, don't laugh at me. But I feel like it's like one of the few good things I can like hang on to, you know, like.
That's fair.
Like it's one of the few good habits I have. Like,
of course, it's definitely a good habit to not cuss.
As I sip my whiskey, you know.
You're real charismatic. I can feel that. I feel like you're one of the people that could have gotten through life without a college degree just on like charisma alone. There's something about you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I feel like not to be weird, you could lure kids wherever you want if you really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? You got that air about you.
Wow.
Why'd you have to say it like that? You're like, it was so nice, and then it was like, I can't use that anywhere else, you know?
No, I mean, you know, as in like build an audience of children, you know? Oh, maybe I'm not making it any better. I don't know. But you're
Ain't that
killing
the
it either
beauty
way.
of the Branders podcast, baby?
You're just a real likable dude. I don't know. There's something about your demeanor that's pleasant. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I will say though, from my perspective, I feel like this kind of atmosphere kind of is definitely different from, you know, internet personalities. How to say you like this kind of, you know, this open talk kind of thing. Like when you can actually get to know people, it makes it easier to like them. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Like interacting with you on Twitter is super fun.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
you're
like,
raunchy.
like, and then watch. Yeah, I'm raunchy, but like watching you and like JHB go at each other and shit, like it's super fun. It's a personality of just, you know, like friends. Jesus Christ, are you a
Oh my
giraffe?
god.
What's up?
Was that is that the Alaskan bullworm? What the fuck was that? That's
Oh,
your neck?
that was a prop. Yeah, sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! My bad. Yeah, didn't mean to.
Jesus. How
No, but
much?
stop. No, but that's one thing I think, I've listened to a few of you guys' podcasts, and I really do like, I enjoy this kind of background, like casual talk. That's one thing I think is set to crack wide open is the banter on social media platforms. Like Twitter is the freaking spot. Like
The spot.
you find out your creators, like I could be PG on YouTube, but I'll banter back and forth on Twitter. Like
I
we can
go
make fun
wild
of
on
each-
Twitter, man. I go wild.
Trust me, I'm done tweeting you.
So-
Trust me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he tweets about Hitler. It's crazy.
So I have a question.
I saw that one.
Yeah, you as like an esports news guy, when you see some tweet like I tweet, like something super brand risk, intense, obviously meant for comedy, but challenges the status quo. What do you think? Because I know you report on like esports drama of all sorts. Do you ever think I could report on this? Because the Fortnite guy does. The Fortnite guy will report every time I fucking tweet some brand risk shit. Oh my god, is he racist? Is he, maybe he's doing it just for comedy? Could be seen as racist. Okay. Like,
Do you mind? Was it about that tweet? Did he do
it
that?
was about that tweet. He did do it. But he spoke really well on it. Like he said, I think he's just cracking a joke, but it could be seen as this. And then I had like hundreds of kids come that day and call me a fucking racist and say I support Hitler. I was like, what? Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't necessarily blame him for that. I think TFG's it's a tough market, right? It's tough to impress people while also doing the news, especially in his shoes when you're getting views on views on views based off anything you touch. I think it's hard to not cover that stuff.
Right.
I remember I almost have covered several tweets out there, maybe yours included, and decided against it. There are certainly days where it's like I have more important things, and that's not meant to be a knock at all. Like I saw it as a joke.
No, it's cool. You're a piece of shit.
Like you got to step back and okay, he was obviously joking, and it's tough to choose because like I especially now consider you to be a friend, and definitely the more that I talk to people or cover people over time, it's really tough to choose like what to cover. Like okay, that tweet's very controversial. That would make an easy video. Will he still be my friend after this? It's definitely it's a tough shoe to be in, to be honest.
I think delivery is part of it too. Where like if you and TFG, if you guys have the same story to deliver, I think the way you would deliver the story would be more easily digestible than the way he delivers it. If that makes sense. Like he kind of, I don't know, man.
He's gotten better at it. He's gotten better at it.
In the past, he's rubbed people the wrong way just by the way he presents topics. You get what I'm saying? Where like I feel like the stuff I've watched from you present in a very unbiased, charismatic, positive way, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And it probably is the stories you pick too.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I've definitely had my little discussions back and forth with TFG, and we've had our little bickerings back and forth. Again, I think he's in a tough spot, and I've definitely had my moments just like he has. I've covered a story, and you read the comments or the replies and you realize, okay, I need to cover that kind of stuff better. Again, Fortnite guy does very, very well. Luckily for me, I think over the course of several thousand videos, I've slowly realized, okay, like I want to try and cover it as fair as possible. The title and the thumbnail might not be it might be a little baity here and there, but if people actually watch the content, I want to be as fair as possible. And even then, like, again, I feel for the guy because I know kind of where he's coming from. It's tough to please everybody.
Well, have you seen him when he started?
As in, I've seen his
2
initial
years
videos.
ago. Yeah. He used to lie. It wasn't like he was covering it wrong. Like he would.
The other thing about him too is I feel like he kind of like what you were saying about how you were kind of shoehorned into the CS world and that kind of plateaued your growth. I feel like because he's in the Fortnite world. And because Fortnite can be kind of stale at times, he kind of has to exacerbate his point to get views, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, he masturbates his points all the time. Right.
Plus, the community is super toxic as well. So it's kind of like that's also probably why the points aren't received as maturely as they could be, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like everything you've said so far this podcast, it's made like just on point sense to me. But again, like that's the market he's in. I'm sure you guys know that he used to be the Overwatch guy, right?
Yeah.
And then came in the Fortnite scene.
Was that his name?
I
It wasn't the Overwatch guy, was it?
I thought I used to know it. I don't want to mean to
Wasn't it just
offend
like
him.
wasn't it just like Michael, whatever his name is?
He just make like a brand. Like he switches his name from game to game. He tried being the Valorant guy too. Remember?
You saw that too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like the guy, to be honest, if I'm being front face, like genius. You know, he's playing to his audience.
I agree. I pause right there. I wholeheartedly agree.
Just so we get that out there.
He is a marketing genius. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to get the views at. That's what I used to say about like Jake Paul and Logan Paul when they were much worse. They're fucking internet geniuses. They know how to get their name out and abuse the algorithm. So go ahead, continue.
TFG has he's literally made the red arrow an icon in the thumbnail. Like the way he has done that, he's definitely made a market for himself. And to Quick's point, like he knows his audience is younger. He has to play up points that typically for like my audience wouldn't be that like controversial or exciting. You know, the fact that Clicks and Unknown have had beef for 16 years, apparently, like my audience would not give a frick.
Right.
Like, but if I'm covering CSGO pros and Valorant pros and somehow getting those kind of views based off that little beef, I'm doing the same thing if I could.
Right. Makes sense. Are you guys competitors?
That's a good question. Have you guys seen the recent news on ESPN Esports?
Yeah, the guy leaving?
Like a bunch of people leaving ESPN Esports?
Yeah, I saw it because of you, actually.
I would say similar vein. I don't consider the Fortnite guy direct competition. He's in the same field, but you know, the better he does, if sometimes I can touch on the same topics he does, I don't think he necessarily takes away from me, and I don't think I take away from him.
Right.
Just you're more like peers, like journalistic peers.
Yeah. Just like people like journalists or reporters working for different outlets.
Do you guys help each other at all in times? No. So he'll never DM you for info on a story, and like, you know, you guys do favors for each other. It's all on your own.
No, I haven't talked to him on that many occasions, and quite frankly, I don't think he needs help doing what he does.
So let me go back to the point you were making about like it being your friends. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if you ever did. Here's the clout chaser and me trying to get views. I wouldn't be upset if you ever did, you know, like report on shit. It's not like that for me. Like I get it, and I think you do a really, really good job of understanding context. Like TFG back in the day when he first started, he doesn't do that anymore. When he first started, he would report something very falsely, like him knowing the context, but he would not explain the context and just make it seem like it was super like Emad GG one time, and Emad hates me, and I was there defending him during this time, by the way. Emad GG one time told some dude that he would kill himself if he had to go to school. Emad GG said that, and then TFG reported it like Emad GG tells kid to kill himself. You know what I'm saying? Like it was super out of context. He doesn't do it anymore. Like I feel like you would never do that. You have a very good understanding of, you know, when someone is being comedic or whatever it is. So going back to that, now that I've said that, and you said, you know, sometimes you don't report on it because it's your friend. Keemstar, I know you guys have beef with each other. Keemstar has a thing where he normally never doesn't report a story if it's his friend. Like he will always report it still because news is news. Where do you find the balance? Do you agree that he does that, or no, he does hide things sometimes?
In my personal opinion, there might be times where maybe some information is kept back.
Fair.
I think you're right though. You know, to him, views are views, and he somehow can cover FaZe in sometimes a negative light and maintain those friendships. And to me, that's always been super weird to see, right? Like he'll talk about like FaZe Banks doing something not very good, and they have their own podcast together. So like to me, that's honestly like pretty remarkable, right? Like
let me explain that to you in one phrase. There is no honor amongst thieves.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I don't really know how to respond to that one in particular, but I will give you my own kind of reference. I don't consider myself to be like, very, very good friends yet with industry people, especially during this pandemic.
Because you're a plant. You're an industry plant.
I mean, yeah, like I was dropped down here on Earth to do this. Okay, so I'll do what they tell me to do. But like if I reference someone like Nadeshot, who I talk about a lot, right? 100 Thieves is a hot topic for me. I've covered 100 Thieves and Nadeshot in both good and bad stories. And to be honest, there's been a lot of times after I drop something pretty, fairly decent or big that I go to bed and I'm like, man, like I've only met Nadeshot once when I went to the 100 Thieves facility for one of the drops. Super nice guy. Ever since then, I've probably covered him 36 times, good and bad. Sometimes I go to bed thinking, I don't think he'll ever think of me as a good friend because, like, I don't know if that relationship is possible. And so it kind of stresses me out a little bit. Like, I'm doing my job.
Right.
And by doing my job, sometimes not everyone's going to be like you, right? And I understand that. If I cover you because you do something bad and you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing my job. Some people just don't really see that, they might see it as if you don't exist, this news doesn't get covered.
That news would be there either way.
It comes with the territory. I mean, from you as a journalistic, person and the things happening around you, like it's your job. And like, I think that going back to what you said about Banks and Keem and stuff and them being friends, I think that they understand that, all jokes aside, I think that they understand that, okay, well, he's doing his job. This sucks, but I'd almost rather my friend make money than some random that's also going to report the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there could be some sort of mutual respect there, but yeah, I feel you. I could understand why you'd think that certain people wouldn't. I think it comes down to trust. You know what I'm saying? They're like, well, if something bad happens while this dude is around, can I trust him to not say anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. But I feel like you could solve that. I feel like you could solve that by like, I don't know, like actually becoming friends with a person. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, because that's the thing. The problem with I feel like this industry is when your reputation precedes you and people already know who you are and what you do, it's hard to get that bias out of their brain to allow you to be their friend as you naturally would have if they didn't already know who you were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely been a constant battle.
Let me pause real quick. Great points as always.
I don't know if that was sarcasm or not, but my points are amazing. So thank you.
No, I like them. Was that what you were interrupting to get at?
Yeah.
I want to second that then for sure. It's definitely been it's a constant battle, and especially I'm not the Fortnite guy, and I'm not Keemstar. I'm not that big, right? And so the implications that my news has is probably to a lesser degree. And I don't know if they view me differently because I'm less menial or like they probably find me more annoying than anything, right? Just trying to do my job.
So you're saying go ahead.
Real quick, dude. Do you remember in at World Cup there was something that happened at the hotel at the bar that had to do with my backpack that if one of us were a reporter we would have definitely said something about it. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, 100%.
Let me get my notebook. What was it?
God, your neck is so thick. Holy shit.
So wait.
Does it extend like that when you get excited over a news story?
Stop distracting from the topic. What's the backpack?
I actually remember. Yes. Now that you say that.
Must be cool to have stories in between each other.
So that great point, because I actually had that point in my head, not that specific one, but about that idea, and I forgot about it. So when obviously people don't live their life by Twitch TOS. Yes, drink it all. Come on, dude. I'm on my second glass. I'm starting to feel tipsy.
I don't want to get too friendly with you guys.
I know why.
Hey, we have stuff you can report on. We're worried about becoming too friendly with you, man.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So on that point, obviously people don't live their life by Twitch TOS, right? Like, 100%. It's a terms of service meant to get sponsors, etc., and to make their platform brand friendly and friendly to the public eye. So when people are, not on camera, there's obviously things that you do that, people that might watch Twitch or whatever might not be okay with. They think, oh my God, this is breaking TOS, but like it's real life. Like you do things outside of that. And everybody has like things that they do off camera that they don't do on camera. So when you're at a party with someone as a news reporter why can they trust you?
That is a really, really good point. That luckily, not a huge party goer because pandemic has hit.
Okay, that's
But-
nothing to do with the point.
I'm distracting.
That was an excellent cop out. That just means you
You
can't
know,
trust
yeah,
them.
that means you can't trust it.
No. Okay, that was like, that's a really killer question, right? Like, because obviously a goal of mine is once lands open back up, like I want to chill with you fools. Like I want to hit you guys up at a LAN event, for sure, creators and owners and players and streamers will be there if we want to go to an after party. That is like literally something I have never thought about, right? Like, at what point is there a point in the day where I'm like, okay, past this second drink, and once we enter these doors, this is off limits. Like, this is personal stuff. People don't want to be recorded. People don't want to be talked about. This is private matters. You know, that's a really good point. I think there's definitely a definitive line, and I want to say that me personally, once you enter those boundaries, that's not stuff you cover. Like, that's. But I don't know. Like, I've never been
Like,
here
here's
before,
the thing.
right?
Let's say, for example, you're at a party, right? And this happens a lot.
Am I with a girl?
All of them.
All of them.
They saw that neck. They're like, oh man.
My sub alert just went off. So whatever you guys just heard, chat, is
Yeah, I gave you my
don't
prime.
mind it. So let's say you're at a party. I forgot to fucking mute the alerts. It's on my OBS.
Wait, we're not live right now, are we?
No. But my alert still goes off on OBS.
You're so popular.
I just mute it. So you're at a party, right? And this happens, right? The drinking age in the USA is higher than most countries, right? In other countries, it's 18. Sometimes it's 16. Let's say you're at a party and, someone who's 18 ends up drinking. That shit happens a lot. And really, it's not that harmful for someone to drink when they're in good hands and they're being taken care of and they're with their friends, they're not driving, etc. What happens when you're at a party and you see a professional player who's underage drinking? How do you cut that line where people can trust you and you're not out there exposing it? And why are people inviting you to parties?
What should I say? Okay.
Bro, like let's say you see like a crazy Fortnite pro taking a crazy bong rip given to him by fucking Nate Shot himself. Like, and you're seeing this with your own two eyes. You have a camera in hand. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, little Benji Fishy just took a fat bong rip that Nate Shot handed him. What are you doing, bro? Are you shutting up or are you ratting?
Imagine Benji Fishy fucking hitting a bong,
oh my God, dude.
Imagine
oh my
fucking
God.
innocent.
Dude,
oh my
and
God.
His mom's in the background hyping him up like she's Travis Scott with the fucking mic over her head.
Wait, yeah. She's there too?
Oh, his
Actually,
mom?
no,
His
no,
mom bought
no,
the
no,
weed,
no.
bro.
Actually, yeah, for the story's sake, yeah, she's there too.
I understand why you guys call it brand risk. Freaking A. Hey, all I can really say is that's a good question. I would like to think that there are certain lines of integrity where if I am lucky enough to be invited to a party of that sorts, that typically those things should go untalked about.
Let's go. We're inviting him to every party and we're just going to do cocaine off for his asses.
Yes. Bro, honestly, the fact that you answered it like that just means that we're definitely going to hang out. Anyways.
But I figured that, but again, I'm new here, right? Like, if you ask that question to Keen, what does he say? You ask it to TFG, what does he say? I don't know. I would like to think that would be my answer, but I'm a new grounds, right? Okay. Hey, there might be things at a party. I don't want people knowing that I drank way too much that night and said some stuff to Arab, like I wanted to, lick his mouth. I don't know. Like, you just never know.
Right.
You don't have to be drunk to say that. Yo, listen. See, the difference between you and Keem is that you would keep it on the download. Keem would fucking be recording that shit in 4K and posting it immediately.
You don't think Keem would keep it on the download?
I don't know, man.
I think he would.
Like that, dude.
I think he
something
would.
like that. Dude, those are none of those people are his friends, though.
Well, I'm saying okay, I get what you're saying. I don't think he would. I don't think he would record.
Bro, he
I think
snitched on Charlie D'Amelio for cheating on a fucking game that Mr. Beast like dude, he'll
but I think it's public shit that Keem will normally, unless it gets leaked. Unless he gets leaked on, maybe he leaks it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, who knows what extent that game goes into, right?
Yeah.
when you're at that level, who knows what's going down? I mean, hey, but bottom line, that's a freaking great question. I simply, that's tough.
Hey, I have a good question for both of you. Do you think Keemstar has journalistic integrity?
What define that?
I mean,
he is a war with
do you think
Keemstar.
do you think he leads with his morals or with his wallet?
With his wallet.
If I'm going to be fair to the guy, and I'm sure the people watching, like, if you don't know, I don't think Keem likes me. I don't have a liking for
Really?
that
What
guy.
gave you that? What gave you that idea? Is it because he tweets about you every 2 weeks?
And hey, maybe he doesn't have a reason to like me. Fair game. If he ever wants to talk about it, feel free to. We've gone back a few times on Twitter. I have reasons not to like him. Maybe he has reasons not to like me. But that's just. I want to say that a lot of the stories he covers don't even require like that. They're typically pretty straightforward. I think he could be more fair and play both sides. But a lot of the stories he covers is kind of a splash in the pan, like, oh, and then next week it's like, like no one's gonna remember the D'Amelio for Mr. Beast games potentially cheating. It's a splash in the pan. People don't typically, I would say, like, they're not gonna hate her for that long, right?
Right.
So I don't think it necessarily requires that kind of integrity. Not to say he has it or not, but I feel like for the stories that the Fortnite guy covers, or maybe I would cover, to me, I would personally feel guilty if I don't give that kind of integrity. If I don't play both sides and give the benefit of the doubt. I've had DMs from people that I've covered like that. Luckily, people have reached out and said, the guilty people, they reach out and say, thank you for covering my story fairly at the very least. And so I guess I've gotten that enough where finally I've understood that I enjoy playing both sides and being open to both sides possibly being right and hopefully covering it as fairly as possible.
That's huge because like a big thing that both of us preach, Edwin and I, is understanding where people are coming from, right? Like everybody.
Context is huge, bro. Context is huge.
Everybody has a different background, and like the African warlord child that is born into a like a tribe that literally they hand him an AK at age 4. He doesn't know that killing people is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid doesn't know that that's wrong. That's what he's been raised with his whole life. So like when you understand, I'm not saying the African warlord obviously, but when you understand that everybody comes from different backgrounds and everyone thinks completely different, giving somebody the benefit of the doubt and understanding both sides as devil's advocate is so important. You fail to see that a lot in today's day and age. Everybody's so quick to call people names.
People are so polarizing. They're not willing to consider both sides. It's hard one side or the other. You know what I'm saying? It's never an equal mix of both. And that's kind of why I fuck with your content, because I feel like you are I don't know. I don't ever feel like you're animalistically going on, against one side or the other. And I kind of appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I like the unbiasedness to where you allow me to make my decision on what I feel. And I don't feel like it's heavily influenced by you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I feel like that's a huge part. And I hope that one day that I can be big enough where like I really enjoy drawing from the audience perspective, because over time it shaped how I approach stories. Certainly, you want to look back years, I covered things so much different, right? Like I was certainly like, boom, that's my thought, that's my words. But nowadays, luckily over time, based off people's responses to different stories, based off just covering all these stories, I can sit back and say, maybe this is what they're going through. Here's still my thoughts, but what do you guys think about this too? And honestly, it's very, very cool to see how different people react to different stories.
So I have a question.
I got one after you too. I got a good one.
You can ask yours. Mine's a multi-layered.
Have you ever had to rescind a story? Have you ever had to like take back something that you reported and that you thought was the truth at the time? And can you give us an example?
Yes, but only a couple of times. It's really tough. From my perspective, at least when it comes time for like wanting to grow. Like let's say I put out a story that actually does well, and then let's say it's not right. I've definitely taken back maybe a couple videos here and there. Most typically what I do is I'll post a video, leave it open-ended, like this is the current accusation, and then give them the decency of a second video. Okay, they've responded. Here's the second side. To some people, they'd be like, okay, delete the first video and then post a second video. It's tough to know what to do in those situations. But I think recently I covered, there was actually some sort of coaching scandal. And right when the video went live, I got a DM from said coach, took down the video, never posted at all. So you definitely run into those situations. And it's tough to know, like, okay, do I let this one go and post again their response? But yeah, definitely have presented a few.
So going back, first of all, what was your, like, you had the legit RS giveaway. What was your CS name? Like your CS news.
Oh my God, that's a really good question. I think it was legit RS giving. I think because that's my.
You're an idiot.
Okay, but I think I changed it to Jake on Steam. So Steam auto goes into CS:GO, I believe. So I would have just been Jake.
Right. Okay.
But for a time, I'm pretty sure I was legit RS giving on CS. Legit
Okay.
CS.
So did you ever have that dream of being your own personality?
God, this is getting deep, guys. I've only had a couple sips.
I'm 2 glasses in.
Would you guys mind if I bounce that off you guys first?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like, have you guys ever dreamed of being your own personality, or what are your like utmost goals? Because I know that you guys are certainly branching out, and I love the connections you guys have brought onto the podcast. But like, if you had to answer like 5 years from now, where you want to be and what you want to be doing, would you be able to answer that?
You wanna go first?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I just want to be cool as shit. Just be cool as fuck, dude.
Frick,
You
cool
know,
as frick.
like I just want to grow. You know what I'm saying? That's like the goal is to just keep growing and keep this train rolling. You know, it's man. The thing is, a lot of people they think about life in like a 9 to 5, like you know, monthly income situation. I think that us as creatives, we understand that these things that we do are kind of like projects. So I guess to answer your question, in 5 years, I want to have a bunch of successful projects under my wing that I've been working on for, you know, since, I mean, this is a project, like you're on one, you know what I'm saying? And I want this to continue doing well, you know, my own stream, my own social medias, and, you know, same with Arab, I'm sure. So, but Arab, what did you mean by, do you ever want to be your own personality? I didn't really understand the question.
It's gonna lead into another question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. You answer now.
Okay,
Your
let
turn.
me. Yeah, I've had this dream since like the beginning. For me, it was like I was always the class clown. I got in trouble. I got suspended twice in school, in high school, for jokes, not for like doing anything bad, like hurting people. It was just for jokes. For jokes that might have been a little bit too far.
I see that in you.
Yeah, I like one day I tweeted at a kid. He was being racist towards me. He was like, "Go back to the Sahara Desert, you ISIS-looking ass." It was like a school rivalry, like between high schools. And I was like, all right, he's calling me a terrorist. I like searched up his name. There's websites where you can find people's name, you know, it's public info, and like find their address by just searching their name. I searched up his name and his house was right there. And I posted a picture of it. I was like, target acquired, kill confirmed, like a Call of Duty line. Yeah. And then in Arabic, I put, this is a joke, right? Like in Arabic, but there wasn't translate on Twitter yet, I think. So so he ended up calling the principal. He was like scared shitless or whatever. And then I get, whatever. I got a 3-day suspension. Shit like that, right? So I always knew I could make people laugh. Like even in college, all these computer engineers with no personality, like the only thing they know how to laugh about is like PCBs, which are like custom, you know, like computer boards and shit like that. Like they can crack technical jokes, and I was making them laugh with these random fucking one-liners that I dropped. So there was always that desire to, I gotta test this, you know? So I started with YouTube videos, etc. And there was always a dream to be my own person. Since that, like that one tweet in school, my Twitter was your fellow Arab, right? And I tweeted that, and my mom made me change it. You know, your fellow Arab was like the funny thing that all my high school friends laughed at. My mom made me change it. She's like, you got in trouble for calling someone, you know, they called you terrorist because your name is Arab, switch it. So I switched off that name for a few years, and I was like, this is not...
What was it?
My name?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you change it to?
Oh, I mean, I don't really like to say. A few people know who it is, but like it's a completely different like channel. I'll tell you. I'll tell you later.
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
it's not something that I care to have out there. So I switched it to like a different name. Yeah, so I switched it to a different name.
He's just not telling us because the reporter's here. But anyways, continue.
Right, but then I switched back. After that, I was like, I got to go back to your fellow Arab. Like, this name is not, name matters. The name matters when you're growing. I think it totally matters when you're growing as a personality. And I was like, this name is funny. Like, I got to go back to it. So I went back to your fellow Arab, and then, you know, now it's kind of just people know me as Arab. Got Arab on Twitch, got the Arab on Instagram. Like, well, that's suspended, but you know, shit. But you know, like my dream has always been to just be one of the biggest entertainers. From the beginning, I haven't cared about money. Like, the money comes, and don't get me wrong, I still do like things to expand and to build myself securities just in case, you know, like whatever merch, different social medias. But since the beginning, I haven't given a single shit about the money. It's about just the biggest audience. I just want to make people laugh. Like, yeah, Edwin knows I've hung out with him, and I just enjoy laughing at any situation. So
the whole you not caring about money kind of ties back into what I'm saying about like projects and stuff, where like you can't care about money to take on projects that take, you know, weeks, months, years, because if you do, then you'll never be able to finish them, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And so like 5 years from now, I just want to be, I think I'll be the biggest Middle Eastern entertainer in esports 5 years from now, and one of the biggest on Twitch. And then I think this whole Branders thing it'll be much more than just a podcast.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a crazy omen that you just said there. It's almost like we're planning some stuff. Wink, wink.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I got one question for Arab. I know this is a podcast about you, but I got a question for you. Arab, what do you want your biggest platform to be? And I'm not saying like social media. No, I'm not saying social media. I'm saying like do you want like a fucking Netflix special, the Arab stand up, or like, you know what I'm saying? Do you want like a sitcom?
Dude, here's the thing.
Instead of the Amanda show, it's the Arab show.
Dude, you got such good questions.
Bro, I thought my name was really dumb growing up. I was like, I didn't really like Edwin, right? So I would always watch the Amanda show, and I'm like, this dumb bitch got a good name. The Amanda show? That's such a good name.
Amanda, please?
I was like,
Amanda.
I was like, who the fuck would watch the Edwin show? I was like, I have to change my name to fucking Adam or something. Like, I don't know. Anyways, continue. Answer the question now.
I don't know. I haven't really thought of, like, I don't know if that's my end goal, is having my own show like that. I want to sell out a stadium. That's one of my like goals that I've set out. I want to say dream.
Like stand up then?
I don't know. It doesn't have to be stand up specifically. I've thought about stand up, but stand up is completely different. Stand up isn't like one-liners and being quick on your feet, kind of like how streaming is, and like, you know, just responding to people instantly. It's more of like having your own show and like storyline that you build over the night. So I haven't, like, I've always wanted to tap into that, but never. It's never been in.
What would the stadium be?
I don't know.
What would the stadium?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
But Logan Paul can sell stadiums without it being comedy. You get what I'm saying? So just being able to sell out a 50,000 person stadium of people like screaming your name, and like just like my parents being next to me, and like, this is what this turned into. You used to come into my room, I had 5 viewers, and you'd be like, get off this game, like, you know. And now it's this. So actually, the parents' point, keep this in the back of the mind because I'm going to ask this after, but going back to the personality, how did you go, bounce back the question to you now that we've answered it, how did you go from being okay with leaving your own channel to working onto another channel as like did you never want to be your own personality, and taking that, I should have waited to ask this question, but like taking that to the working under someone, how'd you break that barrier?
Great questions all around. And I'm super excited to see whatever projects you guys have to work on and what you guys build, because I think, you know, if push comes to shove, we look back on this 5 years from now and say, oh my God, we were so young and so small. That's like the ultimate goal, right? And like, what a killer conversation that was back in the day.
So sick.
But I don't know if I ever wanted to be a personality. I don't know if back in the day when I first started, I knew what a personality was. I definitely like to think that I have a personality that is just attached to esports talk, and God forbid I ever have to leave and build it up again. That'd be it'd be a story in itself. I think for me, just, you know, to both you guys' points, Quick obviously wanting to like do the projects and build up those kind of things. I guess for me, my project would be the audience, and see how I can build one up. And I just don't know. Like I think I am a personality, but I just want to give people something they want. And the reason I started doing this is because I kind of was like, you see Scarce doing very well, but think about Scarce for gaming and esports, and there's just not anyone there. And so like I wanted to try and fill that void. I wanted to try and make the audience, the content that wasn't there before, and see if they can follow. And obviously it's a very, very slow process, but it obviously takes a lot of time as well. For me personally, if I'm being open and honest, I could not have done it financially by myself. I didn't have a lot of money saved up after college. And so once I determined that I could not do CSGO news alone and went on to Esports Talk, I was lucky enough, like I'm not making a lot of money. I'll be open and honest, like I'm getting by, but it's not an immaculate amount of money. And luckily throughout the time growing this channel, there's been some incentives here and there, nothing gigantic. But even when those incentives come, I was like, at points I was making more in college than I am now. Right. So it's not like, to you guys, it's not the money, but it's the growth. It's like the excitement of like, oh my God, like I'm doing something, I am building something much like you guys are building, and people are showing interest. And that kind of feeling it's hard to mimic, right? Like in other areas of life.
Dude, the thing is, I feel like people they'll be quick to ask how much you make a month, but they'll never understand the intrinsic value of influence. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really put a price on influence, and when you build enough influence over time, you can start demanding. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like no one cares on the way up, but when you're up there, that's when it matters. And people
100%.
don't see that. People don't see the long game. They don't take into account, like I said, the intrinsic value of influence. It's an underappreciated thing that's, I think, is going to blow up in the next 5 years, like you said.
It's a game of longevity, and you're clearly building your own personality. I don't think there's a lot of people, especially that watch the channel, that aren't from Twitter, that know you don't own the channel. I think most people think you own the channel. It was a surprise to me, literally like a month or two ago when you tweeted about it, and I was like, what? Like, this is not his.
But I think for each their own. Like definitely there's going to be some hidden things that people just don't, either look into too deeply, or I haven't made very public. There's going to be misconceptions all around when it comes time for like what the people don't know about our personal lives, right? Like a lot of people don't probably know the exact stuff you guys have gone through to get where you are. And it's kind of the stuff where you kind of just, you keep it back. And if at one point or another it comes out, it comes out. But yeah, I don't blame people for thinking that, because if I was watching me, I think the same thing. I think typically people see a YouTube channel and they're like, oh, he has to own it,
Right.
How did you end up there? We never really talked about how you went from the CS channel to this. Like we didn't talk about that at all.
Yeah.
So how did you find this opportunity?
Us three kind of just bounce around, huh? So I graduated from college like May-ish, and then
Had you quit by then? How long had it been since you quit? Yeah.
I kept the channel going until I found the job.
Okay.
So I needed income, like I was had no idea what was next. So I was looking for jobs for obviously going into my senior year, and at one point I had a list on my desktop of, I don't know if you guys did this. I had a list of freaking businesses or companies that like turned me down or never even emailed me back. There's like,
so you could burn them when there were riots.
Yeah, so you could burn the buildings.
Now's the time. The president just got a
guys.
No, that's not what you meant. Oh, okay, shit. Frick, my bad.
Did you see our Halloween picture? Like we're down.
I can't even answer that. But yeah, I was rejected time and time again. And then, all of a sudden it's like I'm graduating. At this point, hey, Arab, to your point, I did a charity stream and they had me shave my head bald. I feel your pain.
That's how I shave my head.
Dude, so I'm graduating and like there's no girls in the picture. Friends are moving off to different states with their jobs. And so I'm sitting there. Now it's summer. I think it was 3-4 months into summer.
How long ago was this?
Just over 2 years ago.
Nice.
And so, many months looking for a job, somehow Esports Talk popped up and I was like, oh my God, like I have a resume, I have a YouTube channel. And I think it took a matter of between then, I think it was probably early June where I first applied. They responded. I flew out late June. They wanted me. I flew out for 3 days with my parents, found an apartment.
Why? Why did they want you? Like how did you apply? What were the requirements? Where also, where did you go looking for that job?
For me, I just Googled esports jobs. There's a couple sites that do it pretty well. If you guys want esports jobs, there's probably 2 or 3 go-to sites, but if you Google that kind of stuff, it does pop up. I guess lucky for me, it just popped up, right? Like, who knows on what given day. And so requirements, if I remember correctly, it was so broad. It was literally just wanted to be esports news of some sort. And I was like, hey, like I have a YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure I was just the only one to submit an application with a YouTube channel as my resume.
Which is huge. And you had a news channel. So it was like,
see, intrinsic influence. You can't put a money on that, but that's why you got hired. You know, there's probably a lot of people that could have gotten that job, but they didn't have the work you put forth before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Quick makes a great point to anyone listening who like wants to get into esports and gaming. To have something physical to show people, like put in the effort while it's cheap. Put in the effort while you have the time. Grade school, middle school, high school, because that value, like to Quick's point, like I mean, that value is limitless for me now, or at least as long as I have a job. The time I put into that channel got me this job. So think about what you're doing, think about what you're putting work into, and it can have limitless future value. So, I mean, that's a great point, Edwin.
So they hit you up, you flew out, and they just loved you, and then now, that's how you became.
Sorry, sometimes I'm not really good at answering questions directly.
No, the beauty about this is, like I said from the beginning, is we just chill and we bounce back and forth. It's like a conversation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they hit me up. I did an online interview, and then I flew out and met them. Man, at that point, it seemed pretty much like a solid deal. And it was actually during my 3-day stay. They were like, hey, we want you. Found an apartment, booked it, flew back to Iowa, and then flew back to Vegas, and have been here ever since.
Oh, so you're in Vegas. Like, you moved out of your full time into their office. What's a day look like at that job, right? Because when I mean, you upload 10 times a fucking day sometimes.
4 to 6 videos is probably the average.
Oh my god,
yeah.
bro.
No, yeah.
You find all the stories, right? Or do they give them to you?
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, you
you
learn
do
as
it
you
all.
Go. We have a small team over here, but I mean, I'm on Twitter 24/7. So, and
that's
Twitter,
how I found
Reddit.
mine, man. That's how I found mine. It was Twitter. There was Reddit, and then there was a site that like puts all your Feedly. Use Feedly?
I don't actually, but hey,
you should.
So
it might
many,
help you.
So many sites and helpful. Like
you choose a bunch of websites and it puts it all in one.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I used to use with Scares. It was Feedly, it was Reddit, and
Scares. Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, that makes sense.
And my job. So it was mainly through college. So it was my first 3 years of college, and I would just sit on Twitter while in class all day.
Yep, same.
Oh, Doug Sensor Martin has broken up with his girlfriend. 30-minute video. Let me watch this with my AirPods in and then summarize it for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out Yannette.
No, but like, we're blessed. Like, we live in an era.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That
was the news lady, right?
Yeah, that was the weather.
Bro, I remember the headlines. It was something about like
breaks up with girlfriend to game or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I actually think it was like this hot chick broke up with him because he won't stop playing video games or something like that.
It's like, they take it the way they take it.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I mean, like, to your point, like, gamers, whatever you want to do, the internet is there. Like, we are blessed. Like, half the work is out there.
It's out there. You just got to figure out how to do it. And I think a lot of people, we talk about this point a lot on this podcast, especially people don't really see they see the glory and like when you start making money, but they don't see the years of, and it's not for everybody. A lot of people, sometimes they fire it up and all of a sudden they're famous within months. But people don't see the years of 0 viewers and no money and grinding out 10 to 15 hour days on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Bro.
I mean, hey, you're so right. Like,
dude, I can tell you from firsthand experience, the craziest come up I've ever seen was Turner's, bro. That was crazy. The dude would not leave his room for 12 to 14 hours a day doing Destiny raids that we didn't understand because we didn't play the game. We were always trying to get him to come outside to film with us. And then all of a sudden, dude, out of nowhere, just Interstellar, just blows the fuck up. It was the craziest thing. After watching him for like 4 years doing that shit, it was nuts. You too, Arab. You too, man. You blew you blew the fuck up in like the last year, man. That was crazy too.
The last 10 months have been quite crazy.
That's what I'm saying, dog. Congrats on the 100K, and then like you check back and like look like,
dude, right? Like
I see you at 100K, and like I'll check your channel intermittently, and all of a sudden you're at 130 plus K. As a viewer, sometimes you check back and you're like, you're blowing up so fast, man. But they don't see.
Oh my god,
the hours.
They don't see the hours.
They check back every week and again, and hey, I'm the same way with my channels. I'm not
also like
anyone.
You're clicking refresh every few hours. You know, you're like, oh my god, it's gone up 100. They're clicking it every week, and they're like, oh, it's gone up 15K. You're blowing up so fast, and you're like, fuck, like what are these numbers? What do I gotta do now to keep it up?
Yeah.
And,
like I check, exactly. Like I'm checking every hour, and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? I'm not growing as fast as I was last month. But usually viewers are casual, and so they check back every 2 weeks, and they're like, "You are killing it, man," and you're like, "No, I am dying. Like
right?
I am tired.
yeah.
Like it's taken me 8 years to get here, and even then, I'm not even close to making it. Like I'm not making a killing. So it's interesting. It's definitely, it's all about perspective, I feel like, from that sense.
So speaking of making a killing, do you like, what's your end goal? Like I know my older brother, he runs a marketing firm, right? And he's absolutely killing it right now, but his dream is to be a billionaire. He wants to be like an absolute billionaire mogul. My dream, I don't care about money. Obviously money is going to be great to allow me to do what I want and, like travel and make content and not have to worry about that stuff. But my dream is to be a mogul in entertainment. It's not about the money. What are your financial goals? Like how rich is when you're like, all right, at this point, like I can literally do whatever I want and it's enough?
After I'm done with this, I want Edwin to answer. Can I deflect a little bit from financial? Like I want to get by, and I've always been honest with people. Like I'm doing decently for a college graduate. I'm not like, people see ad revenue and they're like, oh my God. And that's not me. Like I don't own the channel. So I'm putting in the work and I'm hoping for a future reward. If I'm being honest, I haven't got that reward. I'm not even close to it. For me personally, I love safety of mind. And that's why I didn't even have the chance to take ownership of this channel. Like I wanted the chance to work this up and I can get by financially. I can probably be here for a couple of years and have that safety of mind that I'll have this job for a couple of years. But to your point, I wouldn't say it's all necessarily financial, except for the terms that I want to get by and I want to be able to support a family one day. That's probably the end goal. I don't think I need to be a billionaire, and I don't know if that's necessarily in my realm of things. But for me personally, I've sat back sometimes and you think about like other projects that are like your own. I don't know if you guys have ever kind of based your process off of someone else who has, done the same vein of thing in a different scene. But like, I think of like a Barstool or an ESPN. If I can somehow start that and give the opportunity to someone 10 years, 20 years from now, build something like that, I feel like, to what Edwin said, intrinsic value. Like, yes, I want to be fine. I want to get by. But man,
you are fine.
Thanks, baby. But if I can make this an opportunity for other people from here on out, like down the line, like whoever started ESPN back in the day, think about how many jobs they've given to other people and how much they have given the sports scene. If I can do that for esports and gaming, baby, like what? I mean, I would feel like I've lived a good life. And so that's my answer. Edwin, financial wise, ultimate goal wise, like.
So when I was younger, I really, everyone's dream is to be wealthy to an ignorant extent or whatever. And I think that like in the middle of college, I had been, believe it or not, I was a financial advisor for about a year ish. I had my 215 and I was getting my Series 6. And before I did all that,
for everyone that doesn't know? Because I don't even know.
A 215 license allows you to broker things like indexed annuities and like life insurance and like stuff like that. And then a Series 6 allows you to do like mutual funds and whatnot. So I was
I
earning
asked
my
him for a
stripes.
definition and he gave me a harder.
I mean, like if you don't know what those are, then
215. You just say you're allowed to broker a Series 6 index annuity.
Percentages.
all
and
right,
stuff.
all right. Anyways, my point is before I got to there, I was like, man, once I get those licenses and once I get there, I'll be happy. Like that's gonna be it for me. I like dressing up. I had short hair, believe it or not, and I did all that. And I did the whole. I tried the corporate thing, and this is all while filming Jig Squad videos too, like just like in my off time or whatever. But like I was just trying to, go through life and get as close to being financially successful as possible. And I think that when I started really hating that situation, I was like, bro, I think that's when my financial goals turned from ignorant wealth to being happy. Being happy and secure, right? So because I think that when you're happy, I think that you attract wealth to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when all they wake up in the morning and they're like, I'm just gonna try to make money. That's all I want. That's all I want. Like it actually gets further away from you in a way. And I think that my financial goals now are just to obviously live well, to be happy first and foremost. And when we talk about projects, like obviously I love projects like this, like projects that I'm going to continue doing in the future. So I see myself being reasonably wealthy in the future, but happiness oversees all of that. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think that people, I think I went from caring about, and I keep using this word intrinsic. I went from literal wealth to intrinsic wealth, and like mental health was like my biggest thing. Cause that's how you do it, man.
100%.
If you burn yourself out trying to be rich as quickly as you possibly can, you're going to hate your life. You're not going to trust anyone around you, and you're not going to build anything worth a shit. And to your point, being able to build something that helps people in the future, I want to, when I get to that point of being wealthy enough to be able to contribute to other things, philanthropy is definitely going to be a thing I try to do. Philanthropy being like, trying
Getting
to donate
Playboy
to
girls.
philanthropy is like donating to causes that you really, really support and get behind. Like eventually, like obviously, you hear my dumbass birds. I want to start a bird sanctuary when I'm much, much older. When I'm like an old man.
Oh, like you kill the birds
ready.
and then you put them in a temple?
Yeah. No. Well, it's actually a satanic star. It's
Okay.
a sanctuary. Yeah.
Pray to the birds.
Yeah.
No. We use them for sacrifice. Anyways. Yeah. A lot of Hollywood people actually come to our sanctuaries. Anyways. My point is,
I thought you said it was
to,
birds, not kids. Wait.
That's on Tuesdays. That's on Tuesdays. Yo, little known fact: birds don't have adrenochrome. I don't know if you guys knew that.
All right, stop it.
You're
Anyways,
like a lawyer.
So to wrap it all up, man, I just want to be happy. I want to be able to help people, and I think that's what everyone's financial goal should be. That's what it should be, because greed is stupid.
Let me bounce that. Arab, sorry for interrupting a question, but like I think you guys make a great point in mental health, and I think we see that issue a lot with a lot of rising personalities. A lot of them take breaks. Some don't come back at all. You look towards the lengthy breaks of like Daquan and Hamlin's
and another person on TSM, Ops
OP,
CSC.
OP, yeah. And then like there's others as well, like Dizzy from the Apex scene
Oh
formerly.
wait,
like,
Dizzy's gone?
Yeah, he hasn't come back
You
yet.
know Dizzy was a Fortnite pro?
He was before
he
that?
was a dude trying to make it in Fortnite, and he was right there. He was semi-pro. He was like close to the top, and all of a sudden Apex, dude, I'm telling you, like this kid, we'd fight each other all the time, and then all of a sudden Apex Legends comes out, and he's the fucking best, and he just blows up from fucking 20 viewers to 10,000 overnight.
Did you know that he was in CS before that, and he was nuts there too?
No.
Like I feel like a lot of good FPS players have CS backgrounds, but like obviously the kid's nuts.
Right.
So
he's gone. He took a break.
Yeah, lengthy break. And he was gonna go pro in Valorant possibly, so because he's nuts.
Right. Mental health, man. It's a really undervalued thing. People really fall in love with the whole wake up at 6 a.m., grind every single day, ignore your family and friends and loved ones, and just make it to the top. And it's like, if you have that mentality, like after a while, man, it's unsustainable. It really is, And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying don't work your ass off. I'm just saying, like, know yourself and be reasonable with expectations, because you are your own biggest critic,
Yeah, for sure. And be careful in doing so. Like, obviously, to get to some levels, you have to grind. You have to put yourself out there in ways that are going to make you feel vulnerable mentally, and you're going to test yourself. But I was going to get to the question of, like, how do you guys balance your lifestyles? How do you keep yourself mentally clear? Because I think it's very common for a lot of people out there, no matter what field they're in, to struggle mentally. So how do you guys keep that work-life balance? What do you do to really, really keep yourselves mentally sane and mentally fit?
You gonna go first?
You can go first. I gotta think because I'm crazy and I actually do a bad job of that. Actually,
So going through all this, like the starting up the Twitch streaming thing, I had a girlfriend the whole time. I had like a long distance girlfriend in New York. And what I would do is basically, I was doing full-time school, but also streaming 300 hours a month, right? So like I'd commute, I'd come home, I'd barely sleep. And because of that, I used to be like really, really fit, like bodybuilder, shredded. And I had like sacrificed that to fully focus on this, plus my girlfriend, plus my, school. And my getaway to not get burnt out was every month I would go visit her for 3 days. So it was like I'd work my ass off for 28 days, 4 weeks straight. And then on the fourth week, I'd go see her for Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday. And then I'd come back. So I was like, she lives in New York. I live in Georgia. Well, like at the beginning of quarantine, we ended up breaking up and, things changed. Obviously, I didn't have a girlfriend. You also can't see people. So it's like, it was just work now. And like, I think a big thing that kept me mentally sane is the Discord calls with the boys. But also there were nights where, I'd wake up and I'd be like, I don't want to fucking do anything today. Like, I need that mental break. Like people, obviously I work my ass off, but some days I'd wake up, I'd be like, fuck this, I'm gonna sit in bed for 4 hours and sit on my phone, and it's like the balance there is also like, as I was doing it for 2 years or for 3 years, my IRL friends, they understood it. Like they knew that's something I was working on, and they tell me, yo, Arab, come hang out with us, like we're all hanging out. And they'd all hang out, they'd fucking chill together, and I'd be here every single day still streaming. And it was like, luckily for me, I had a good friend group that, I didn't have to show up every day. And I think that's like what having good friends is, where you don't have to be there. They understand that you're working. And, now that I've kind of like made a name for myself, I don't have to take every opportunity to get my name out there, and I can go hang out with them. Because it was like, as I was growing, right, I still have a text message. This is such an important text message. There's two of them. There's one text message where my little brother texted me. This is before I knew Turner. This is before I knew Edwin. My little brother texted me, and I had one viewer, right? And Tifu had just gone live, and he had 0 viewers. When it shows like 0 viewers and someone just goes live, and he goes, yeah, you have more viewers than Tifu.
Yo, that's actually sick.
And I was like, this is sick. I had one viewer, dude. And then like I used to, when I was in the gym, my little brother would text me. He's always been, a big support for me. And I'm glad like I can pave the way for him too to get into this. Is like, he would text me, bro, when I was at the gym. I'd be like, Daquan is doing solo snipes, which is like when you queue up at the same time as Daquan, because he wants people to kill him so he can eat his food, and then he'll spectate, and it'll spectate his viewers. So it's like, as soon as Daquan was doing solo snipes, I would pack up, because he would announce it 15 minutes early. I'd pack up the gym. I'd stop mid-workout, no matter what I was doing. I'd come home and I'd get on so that I could get my name out. And like, as soon as you kill him, you get 600 to 700 viewers to your stream. And that's how I got my first average viewers. Like my first active viewers were 2 people from Daquan. And they started watching me, and they started subscribing to me instead of him with their Twitch Primes.
Who were they?
It was like Layal. It was Layal. It was like Juma.
Juma,
yes, bro. Like,
no way.
Yeah. So
Dang,
that's cool.
That's a sick story.
So that was the. So anyways, like the mental health, you definitely got to work your ass off, but like you gotta. Yeah, I think you work your ass off, and you gotta put that mental health to the side a little bit. I was able to keep it sane because I had a girlfriend, and I would take those 2-day breaks, and that's okay. Like work your ass off for 28 days and take a 2-day break. It's okay. Like just don't. Sorry, that was aggressive. Don't take more than 2 days, because it's easy. It's easy to take 2 days and then be like, a third day, and then a fourth day. So I guess like having that long distance was really important, because I go and I come back and it's back to work. You know, like there's no downtime. And by that time that I had like we had broken up, it was like, all right, I figured it out. Like I can do it now. But now I kind of replace it with like trips to Florida. Like 2 days ago I was in Florida with the boys for 3 days.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And like a month ago I was in Florida with the boys for 3 days. So it's like now it's kind of that's the mental health break. So
yeah,
it's important to take those breaks. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Sorry, he took all the freaking podcast time.
I'm a little bit tipsy.
No, I liked it. Hey, you know the thing is, man, I like hearing my friends talk because sometimes you catch something you didn't know about them, even though you've been friends with them for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know about the Juma thing. I didn't know about a few other things, you know. So it's cool, you know. Personally, as far as mental health goes for me, man, I used to do this thing where I did 2 days on, 1 day off, and that really helped me out. And then eventually I would do like 3 days on, 1 day off, and it's just kind of like but to what Arab said though, sometimes you have to just grind. Sometimes you have to know yourself though. You have to be like, okay, like I can really grind this out for the next 10 days and be fine, but then I'll take a break. You know, and the other thing is like, you know, we're all in a position to where we've made some money doing this. We've been relatively successful. No one's hungry. No one's gonna starve from not streaming for a day or two. So I think that those days where your body and your mind are like, yo, I am not doing this today. You have to listen to that because I've tried not listening to that and I've had a terrible time on stream before. You know, and sometimes I feel like I'm like, yo, I really don't want to stream, but something inside of me tells me no, like tonight's gonna be a good night. So I listen to that. You know, it's like you kind of have to listen to yourself and it's okay to take days off as you need them. But also another good thing that Arab said is it's really easy to go from taking 2 days off to a third day off to a fourth day off, and then you're fucking Daquan and no one's seen you in 3 years. I will say this. I really like streaming every single day because when I don't stream for a day or two, I get anxiety coming back. Because as a streamer, you know, unfortunately, obviously, man, I'll tell you straight up, I love myself. I've gotten to that point in my life where whatever demons I had to face to get to this point of acceptance, I've faced them and I'm here. And so the thing is, unfortunately, there's like a Twitch thing though, to where you are valued publicly based on how many views you get. So it's like sometimes you get in your own mind where you're like, man, like I haven't been live in 3 days. I hope when I click live, people still remember me, you know, because 3 days on Twitch is like a fucking eternity. Realistically, even not streaming for 1 day feels weird, right? And that's something that I feel like streamers struggle with. But I don't know. As far as mental health goes, like I said, I just know how long I can grind before I need a break, and I think just knowing yourself is important. You know,
for sure.
Yeah. How about you?
You guys want Arab?
I think. Did you answer this at the beginning? No, you didn't. Oh, you bounced it back to us. You sly fuck. You sly
dude,
fuck.
This is why I wouldn't trust him in parties, bro.
Yo, what do you mean?
I'm not doing any drugs around him.
I'm in the corner, keeping to myself.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't really like. If I don't stream, I feel like I can't sit at my computer and just do nothing. I have to go live. Like sometimes I don't want to go live, but I'm like, I know it'll be better for me. Because once I go live, I'll be fine. You know, and I think a big thing that I did a lot differently than other streamers is that I streamed, because I was streaming 15 hours a day, I was showing them my actual life. It's okay to see the bad side of me. It's okay to see, like, today I'm upset. I fucking brush my teeth on stream sometimes. Like, I'll fire up stream and I'll fucking go and grab my fucking toothbrush while everyone's loading up. You know, it's like, that's me. Like, we're humans. A lot of people don't really get to see the human side of the streamer, because the streamer is trying to, you know, just work those hours and, you know, just do a job rather than be like connected with their community. For me, it's more of an escape. Like these are my people. I think I have a fan base. I used to say like I don't have a fan base, but now my YouTube exploded, I definitely have a fan base, and that's my YouTube people. My active Twitch people, that's a fucking community. Like these are people where I'm excited for us to throw a fucking barbecue and all my community's there, and we're fucking, you know, eating burgers like Nick Merckx's community, and we're all, you know, I'm fucking this guy in chat, I'm this guy. Like that's cool. You know, it's a bunch of fucking friends.
Bro, hey, to that point today, so I have these homies downtown. They own a vintage shop. It's called Curated Heat, and it was their 1 year today. And I was downtown, and I posted a few pictures that I was there and said come hang out, whatever. Like I saw a few local people coming out. Bro, people came in. This dude came in, and he had a pair of $5,000 shoes, and I knew what they were. I was like, holy shit. I was like, yo, these are dope. And he's like, yo, thanks, man. He's like, I don't know if you like remember me, but I'm Caravania from your chat. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what's up? I saw like 3 dudes from chat at Curated Heat after
so
posting on my
sick.
story.
It's so cool.
It's so dope. It's crazy because like the weird thing is though, they all know who I am and know what I look like. I had no idea.
It's
Right.
not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Like
Dude,
they were dope, but I was just like, damn, dude, like fuck.
I think viewers have the advantage in meeting in real life. You know,
For sure.
Because they always catch you off guard. Like,
Yeah, always.
I've had moments where like someone looks at me and I'm like, no chance. And then like they'll look at you even longer, you're like, maybe. And then they'll make a long walk over. And then it's just like, frick, you win this round.
Your blow up, did that happen before quarantine?
During the same, like I would say.
Wait, pause. Before we go to that, answer the last question, pussy.
For real.
He does this shit, bro, where we forget.
Hey, you guys are willing to move on, okay? It's very interesting hearing your perspective because you guys live very different lifestyles as compared to me, like having to keep up with a stream and your other social medias and projects as compared to me. I don't have the time commitment needed to be live, you know? And so it was very interesting hearing you guys talk about
edit.
how you
Do you edit your own videos?
A bulk majority. So not
really?
the podcast,
Okay.
not any long form stuff, but all my videos, yeah. It's not like it's anything fancy, right? It's like super simple.
But still, editing takes time, whether it's simple or not.
Your videos are good too, man. They
And
better
especially when you're
value you,
rendering
man.
4 to 6 a day.
Yeah, they better actually value the shit out of you, bro, because you're an excellent host, you're an excellent editor, and I don't know, you're on that shit. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I guess to the point of 4 to 6 a day, like that's my anxiety, right? Like you guys said, if you don't go live, for 2 or 3 days, you're like, holy frick, like you get anxious. For me, it's like it's very, very video to video, which is very sucky, right? Because you're gonna have videos that suck, you're gonna have videos that do very well, and it sucks because I'm on a schedule of 4 to 6 videos a day, and so oftentimes I'll get one video done, and I'm like, all right, I can't really bask in that moment. I got to go back and do it 4 or 5 times more. And so it's a very repetitive process. So mental health is obviously very, very, very important. For me, I kind of am lucky. I don't work the long hours you guys do, put in that much time per day. I do tend to work every day though. So I kind of try and splice my week up, like maybe working 6-7 hours per day, every day, instead of you guys 10 to 15 hours, so it's definitely a different lifestyle, which is very, very weird. But I feel you guys for me personally, I like to work out. I like to get outside. Otherwise I get shot. Like I
started working out again. I started once my girl and I broke up 4 months ago, I started working out on stream.
Really? How's that been going?
Oh my God, amazing. 500 to 700 people will watch me work out. I got my fucking Bowflex dumbbells, just bought them. They're fucking interchangeable.
I'll curl about a fourth of what you do, but get me on there.
You know, I hear the funniest shit. One time we were having I was live and we are just hanging out, and sometimes when I go live, I just do chatting, where we'll all be in a Discord call, like me, him, some of our other friends. We'll just have a little homie podcast almost. Yeah. We'll just talk about whatever. Bro, one time we were doing this 2 weeks ago, and we're just talking, and I look up. And out of fucking nowhere, bro, Arab's on a bicycle. He's just on his little the thing in the background. Right there. And he has a towel on his head. And he's just biking away. And I'm like, bro, where the fuck did that come from? I don't know. It just cracked me up, dude. He's committed. He looks really good. Arab looks really good. Between the hair, the losing the weight, and all that shit. Good for you, man.
I'm trying to get fit again. You too, Jake. Right? It feels good, bro. It just feels good working out.
You're looking juicy. Yeah, I mean, it's also again, everyone has their own thing, but for me personally, it's just that, I almost said it's just that estrogen rush, but that's not the right word.
We figured it out. Rush. We might have to ask him the question at the end.
That's why he's so pleasant.
Okay, that's why you guys are so into me.
Oh man, but you sure know how to make a dark man blush.
But I'm naturally red, so I'm always blushing. But Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? Everyone has their own little outlet, but for me, it's like working out every day is kind of just like that's my alone time, that's my thinking time, and back to the grindstone. So it's interesting hearing your guys' perspective because, like, yeah, you got to find a way to somehow balance yourself with your work, and to each their own.
So thing about like working out that a lot of people don't realize too is the confidence it gives you. First of all, attractive people have life easier. That's just reality, right? Like you're more likely to walk up to someone that you think looks good than someone that you think is unhealthy, unfit. Because it also like shows good habits, first of all. Second of all, it's just you're attracted, right? Whether it means you fucking just because you're attracted to somebody doesn't mean you're making a move or whatever. But like attractive people have life easier, right? All the people that get big business deals are fucking attractive. All the people that get into fucking shit for free, they're attractive. Like. And anyone can really be attractive for the most part if you just take care of yourself. So yeah, that's a big thing. What was the question I asked you before I told you to stop being a pussy and go back? There was a question there.
Man. That sucks.
And I forgot it.
Well, just check VOD.
Well, I do have a question.
Was it before the mental health thing?
It was
it
between.
Was
we
right
answered it and he didn't answer it.
You know, it's fucked. He remembers it, and he's just he's not helping us out.
Yeah.
No, I would not. I don't do that to you guys.
So I have a question. Okay, so you were saying you edit your videos, you record the videos, you come up with the news for the videos. First of all, how's your day like? And second of all, like I want to go to that point. Like most people in esports, or at least people that become personalities, are jacks of all trades. You're good at that one thing, whether it be comedy or the game or talking, right? Like you are with that charisma, but you know how to edit. You know how to do other shit. Like we all learned it by ourselves. I started off by learning how to edit. I started off by learning how to Photoshop. Edwin knows how to edit, how to Photoshop. You probably know how to Photoshop as well as edit. Like you don't get an editor at the beginning. You do that shit your fucking self. And then once you can, I didn't get an editor until last month. I edited my own YouTube videos all the way up until I had 110,000 subs. Like every single day I'd get off stream and do that shit. So it's like, you guys got to know, if you're watching this podcast, learn to do that shit. It's an important skill to have, first of all. And it makes it where like most entertainers do that shit. They edit their own stuff. Nick A30 didn't get an editor until recently.
Yeah. I think to that point though, a lot of people out there have their own editing style. Outside of like mine's super basic, so it's not like my own style, but like, you know, people get used to it where it's like almost they want to, you know, it's part of their pride, part of their work ethic, which I greatly respect the people that find the time to do that. I think actually the question you were going to ask me was my schedule before all that. So yeah, really quickly before I jump into that, if you guys are watching, like learn the skill sets. If you don't want to be a personality, you don't want to be a streamer, you don't want to be a player, there are opportunities endlessly in graphic design, Photoshop, that kind of social media. Like learn the skill sets that you would similarly put on a resume, and you can really go somewhere with it. So I think a lot of creators out there, just to your point, like they grew up editing and now they edit their own stuff. Some of them don't even want to not edit their own stuff. So, but anyway, back to like a daily schedule, and I want you guys to answer the same if you're willing. Not trying to distract you, but I think earlier Edwin said like 6 a.m. and grind. And I usually, I'm a grandpa. I go to bed really, really early and I'll wake up every day at 5 a.m.
Wow.
The thing is, I'm West Coast, so like that's late, right? So for the news outlet, it's already 7 a.m. back home in Iowa, 8 a.m. East Coast. So it's not early to me. It's kind of just like I have to. So I'll wake up at 5 a.m., eat a quick breakfast, go potty, hit the office, be there but just before 6. And then I think we have pretty much a set schedule. So try and upload 4 to 6 times a day. First video always at 7 a.m., then 8:45, 10:30, 12:15, whatever it is. And then throughout the day, just kind of, scouring Twitter, scouring Reddit, scouring other sources of anything I can talk on. But for me, at least in my schedule, it's always important, like end of the day, the night prior, I'm never leaving Twitter. Like I have a gigantic Word document, 160 pages of video ideas. And so if there's ever a dry day, because that's like the one thing that stresses me out, luckily in esports and gaming, as I'm sure you guys know, there's endless news all the time. But I always have this like OCD, like what if there's no news tomorrow? So I always have videos that if I don't get them done, I write them down. I'm sure you guys do the same. And I always come to the office prepared and always at least a video ahead.
Wow. I have a notepad thingy on my phone where when I have like a good idea, I'll write it down. But it's not time sensitive. It's something that I can come back to a year or two down the road and it probably won't be taken. Yours is very time sensitive, of course.
Sadly, yeah. So like there's a lot of good ideas for videos that just go to waste.
So why
like,
is your page 160? Why is it 160 pages?
Because I hate getting rid of old stuff. Like I always want, so
you're
I
a hoarder.
Yes. OCD. Like
he's not a whore. Come on.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't get enough girls for that.
Well, what
like,
the frick?
What the frick? That, yeah.
Yeah.
But for me personally, like I like to pride myself in, especially on Twitter, whenever anything breaks or comes out about a person or a player or a team, I like to like have information on what they have done previously. So I don't want someone to come to a video and only be informed about that topic. I love to touch back on previous things.
Right.
And so writing things down for me has always been a great way to remember them. And I'm super lucky that over the past 2 years, like, I mean, you guys know so much has freaking happened. So like whenever anything happens with Tfue or FaZe Clan or individual players, like there's always stuff they have done before that I can hash back on, which is like, I just love talking about that stuff. So that's why I keep a long freaking list.
There's another esports. What's the one that covered Turner's situation, Arab? Do you remember what it was? Like the whole legal situation?
The score. Those are good.
Bro,
my
so
God, they're
it's
good.
funny because Turner's dad, he watches all that shit religiously, and he's definitely watched you before. And it's just funny that it's all like full circle. Like he has an opinion of the score, he has an opinion of you, and it all goes full circle. Like it's funny. I'm gonna tell him I talked to you for sure.
Hopefully he's tell him hi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's always tough thinking back on a person like Tfue or Turner or like anyone that has had those kind of stories, because I always like cringe a little bit. Like I wonder, how did I talk about Tfue 2 years ago compared to now? Like obviously I think he's a star, obviously, but I wonder like what I sounded like talking about him back then, right? Like whose side did I take in FaZe Clan versus Tfue? Are FaZe or Tfue gonna hate me for the rest of my life? It's like it's the shoes I'm in,
Right. And that's, you just got to deal with that. You do a good job at being unbiased. So I have a question. I have a friend that, an old content creator friend that posted this, and it like begged the question. A lot of people haven't really ever spoken about this situation, but Edwin and I, we during this whole content thing, we were blessed enough to be able to live with our parents, right? And it made things easier, right? We still had stuff that our parents demanded of us to be able to live there, right? Like me, I had to go to college and I had to be doing good grades as well as helping my dad with his own business while I ran my own thing. But he basically tweeted, successful content creators either started early, live in the suburbs, live with their parents, or had a huge amount of disposable income. Rarely are they struggling workers in big cities growing part-time. Food for thought. And I commented, I said, I think a better way to word this is unsuccessful content creators left their parents' house early. For you, someone that has now made a name for themselves, etc., you said your parents were always supportive. Were you able to stay at home? Do you live on campus? Did you pay your own dorm bills? I guess it begs the question, like a lot of people basically like quit and they'll go to LA where it's the most expensive rent in the world. They don't even have a job or income, and they just hope that they can make it because they think they're fucking good at what they do. Right? We've all built a name around a brand around our name. For you specifically, like going through college or pursuing this esports talk stuff, did you live at home up until you moved to Vegas? How was that dynamic?
I guess to that point, I think there's always going to be people that were, probably less fortunate than I was growing up. I was very lucky to be in the position I was. I paid part of my way through college, and my parents helped me as well. But I think there's always things that you can do to, help finance those things and help come to those costs. But yeah, unfortunately, so it really sucks to say, not everyone's given the same chances growing
100%.
up.
Right.
I don't like when people fault other people that were given the opportunities and make the most of them. I'm not saying I was in the best opportunity, but I'm incredibly blessed, right, to be where I am and to have been given the parents and family I have been. I mean, I could not have. I don't know where you guys come from in that regard, but I love them to death, right? My family is like my go-to. They're my linchpin. Like without them, I would not be here. But at that point, though, I was living with my family my entire life, and I went to school in state. And I saw them frequently. And it was a question of like, do I commute to college? I didn't go to the most expensive college. I didn't go to the cheapest college. But yeah, I mean, every summer I was home in the basement, and I've been with my family since day one. I don't know if that really means much for that question, especially.
It means it answers a big point of it.
But I definitely I saved where I could, and I have no embarrassment. Like if it had come to the point where that I stay home, if I was able to work in the Midwest, I would probably have just recently moved out. Like I am a very, very I will save. I'm a penny pincher. So yeah, if I had the option to live with my parents or my family for an extended period of time, I would probably still be there or just moving out and make the most of it. And I think looking back now as adults, this might sound way too deep for us. I don't know what you guys think about this, but you got to make the most of it while you can, right? Like
100%.
I'm not with any of my hometown friends anymore, and those are my best friends. Like most of I don't have any hometown friends or really, really close friends here anymore. I left home, and so I look back and I'm like, yeah, I treasure it, and if I had the chance, I would treasure it more, but I don't. So. Sorry if that was a roundabout way.
No.
I think
apologizing. Like I said, this is chill. This is just happen in the mind of Jake. Go ahead.
I feel like there's like a societal pressure to do things like leave your parents' house as quickly as possible, be financially independent, graduate college, and this and that. And I think that societal pressure is to a detriment of a lot of people, bro. Like, do you know how many people I went to high school with that did that? They went to the expensive state college with very little scholarships or reason to go. They are now $80,000 in debt with a real estate license that they could have gotten in 2 weekends at Bob Hoke School of Real Estate, right? They moved out, they have a crazy rent and they can barely afford it. The thing is, living at home, or at least living in a subsidized situation, it allows you to pursue your creative passions and endeavors without needing to survive as much, if that makes sense. And like I said, man, I'm not from here. I was born in Nicaragua. It's next to Costa Rica. Arab's not from here. Our family cultures are really you don't leave home until you either get a crazy opportunity or until you get married. And it's I felt that societal pressure, not as much as I think my Caucasian friends, I would say, because man, I've seen it happen time and time again, man. When people fall into that pressure, they'll get their own place, they'll finance a crazy car, they'll get crazy scholarship, or they won't get any scholarships, but they'll go to an out of state college, like one that they didn't even really need to go to for what they want to do, and then they're fucked. The rest of their life is paying off some mistakes that they made in their early 20s because they let other people influence them.
And really quickly, I want to say this is all this stuff has been so eye-opening over the past 2 years, and just even getting to talk to you guys in this regard, that's the stuff that it almost sucks. Obviously you guys choose to share or not share. People are probably never gonna, myself, are never gonna fully embrace the struggles that you guys went through, and I take that for granted. Who knows if I would have made it from your circumstance to where I am now. Does that make sense? That kind of respect is not.
It's whatever. It's just life, bro. We're not like that. We're not like that, though.
Yeah.
No,
I for a second felt like you were feeling bad for me, and that is not the message I was trying to say.
Sure, no.
I am very thankful for where I am in life, and I thank my mom and my dad every single day because they did not have to make the effort that they made to get me here. I should be in a third world country under a tin roof, making the best out of it, but I'm not. I'm here, and the opportunities. The opportunities are endless, and that's why I try grasping at as many as I can as a thank you to the people that put me here, right? And so, one, don't feel bad for us, man, because a lot of us foreigners, we tend to do pretty well in this country. But no, I feel you. I feel what you're saying, though.
yeah, like I don't mean to like, I'm not sending out pity. I'm just saying
I get
perspective
it.
wise.
You were born with white privilege and you're
Okay,
racist.
there, Jesus Christ.
Bro,
I'm
hey,
just-
can you report on this like that you're
Oh my
a
God.
racist?
Jesus Christ.
That's so crazy, dude.
I try and
Whoa.
give you guys one compliment the entire time. And I'm just saying people should listen with perspective and be like, yo, grasp, okay? Like, you don't have to look for opportunities, but when they approach you, take them. Like, make the most of them. Like, grind and actually put your nose down. And it's inspiring to like look at all the different creators I've had the chance to talk to. Like, it's really inspiring the complete diversity that's out there. Like the stuff that you really can't fully grasp until you hear it,
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Look, like I said from the beginning about the African warlords, everyone is born into their own life, right? You can't sit there and dwell on, oh, you guys were brown. You guys are brown. Oh my God, what a hard life you've had. Like, okay, whatever. I got randomly selected at the airport for 16 years. I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
You want to hear how hard my life as a brown man was, bro? I got like pretty good grades in high school, and because of my decent GPA and the fact that I wasn't white, I got college. I got college for free, dude. Like, yo, shout out to not being white. Like, lit.
Like, look, dude. Here's the reality that we preach a lot. Like Edwin and I is when you get made fun of or when someone is racist to you, right? Most of the time they're just trying to get a reaction. So like, I grew up in a Catholic rich boy school in Georgia. Like, it was all white rich people, and I was the fucking brown kid, and I got called a terrorist all the time. I got called the dude that came from the fucking dunes and the sand n-word and all of that shit. And I could have either been the dude that cried and been a bitch and been like, oh, I'm so oppressed, or I could have been the dude that laughed, and I was the dude that laughed. And because I was the dude that laughed, it wasn't harmful, right? I chose to make it not harmful, and those people became my friends. And rather than being like, oh my God, he is a terrorist, like he's a loser, piece of shit, they're like, oh my God, he laughs. He's funny.
Ahmed isn't that bad.
Yeah,
I like him.
exactly. You know, so it's like there's different ways you can decide to live life, and you can either live it stress-free or you can live it by worrying about everything that people say about you. And that's
which is tough,
my friend.
Oh man,
I just want life to be one big Dave Chappelle skit. That's all I want.
Oh my God,
that's all I want.
Amazing. I want to pause right here, and I actually want to move to the audio only podcast. But the question I'm going to ask you, so what we normally do is we do a segment. By the way, guys, Spotify is free. You can listen to the rest of this podcast on Spotify by clicking the link in the description. I want to ask you how you got the name Jake Lucky / Jake Sucky, but don't answer yet. We're going to end here. If you guys are watching, you want to catch Jake, his socials are all in the description. Thank you guys so much for making it this far, but unfortunately, we always have the audio only podcast for the people that want to listen on Spotify, because Spotify is the future. So pause where you are right now, click the fucking link in the description, and we'll see you guys in a second.